Hello everyone. I am currently using text-to-speech since my mic is not working at this time. This review was supposed to be released in 2020. The audio and opinions in this piece may not reflect my current thoughts, but I am running low on options. So bear with me on this one. You will need it.
It has been
5 years
since I reviewed a certain comic book series. Since then, the video has gotten
over 4,000
views and holds the #1 spot for the most popular video on the channel.
5 years
is a long time, and time changes things. So let's see how this comic is holding up, whether I still hold the same opinions, and discuss the one side of the comic I rarely see fans talk about. Nights into Dreams was released in 1996 for the Sega Saturn. You play as an acrobatic jester named Knights on a mission to save the dream world from the clutches of Nightmare and its ruler, Wiseman the Wicked. You fly around multiple dream worlds with the aid of 2 humans from the real world, trying to collect their stolen dream energy known as Idia, while defeating the main bosses within the world known as Nightmarens. Nights into Dreams gained popularity and a pretty massive following, so much so that it was given its own comic book series in 1998. The comic opens with the immediate introduction of Wiseman the Wicked. He is monologuing about how he is going to take over the world with the power of the Idia he has stolen, and nothing will stop him. All is going well until Knight says yeet and shoves them into the real world so Wiseman doesn't get his sticky hands on them. We then fast forward to the current time and are introduced to 2 Nightopians, Nap and Snooze, who are looking for strong Idia as the Night of Convergence is upon them, aka Wiseman's Takeover Take 2. They find 2 dreamers by the names of Elliot Edwards and Clarice Sinclair, teenagers who struggle with personal issues in their lives and by chance are brought together. They team up to free Knights and defeat Wiseman before he can take over the real world. The story is coherent, comedic, and stays pretty close to the original story from the game besides switching around Nightmare and bosses, and the incorporation of being able to switch bodies with a Nightmare and a Dreamer? Who thought of this and why? I also appreciate the writers giving Nightmares and Nightopians more personality, other than leaving them as NPCs. And yes, I'm talking about Jackie Boy. It would be a sin not to mention his presence in this comic. The art and color is cartoonish but pretty consistent. Too bad all of that is going to change in the next arc. Now let's be mature. No childish freakouts.
No! Why does Elliot look like that while he's running?
What have they done?
Please,
Okay.
No!
I'll try not to die piecing together this wreckage. Now before getting into the next part, let me cover a couple things. In the previous arc, Riella befriends Elliot's arch-rival, Roger, to help gain information on Clarice. After Wiseman's defeat, Riella takes over Nightmare and plans to take revenge against Knights. But he can't. Why? Because she's currently trapped in the real world. How did that happen? Elliot and Clarice used their Idia in order to restore Knights after the final battle. But their power was so great, she was able to enter the real world. The longer Knight stays in the real world, he slowly learns why she does not belong. Knights desperately tries to find a way back to Nightopia as fear starts to grip them, resulting in her body slowly disappearing. Elliot and Clarice receive telepathic messages from Knights and both team up again to find and send Knights back home. So, if you know nothing about this comic, you're probably looking at me weird. What's so confusing about this? Well, that was the watered-down version of the story. There are multiple things happening besides the Knights' rescue mission. The cops are after Knights. Riella is destroying all of Nightopia and Nightmare. There is a terrorist group out to blow up the Twin Seeds Tower, and people around the city are having weird dreams. Are you slowly understanding why I'm calling this arc a wreckage? Apparently the terrorist group known as REM wants to destroy the Twin Seeds Tower because it is a threat? The main cop of this arc, Lieutenant Olafel, is not only trying to stop the group, but find Knights and piece together why people are getting weird dreams. And to top off this messy ice cream sundae, the owner of the tower, Mr. Weiss? Mr. Weiss? Weasel? Mr. Weiss is in on the terrorist attack. Twin Seats Tower is blown up, and out of the dust, Riala finally shows his ugly head.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting.
And NiGHTS duels with him, and let me tell you, it's pretty uneventful and kinda stupid. Both are losing their energy fast, and they must go back to NiGHTopia before it's too late. Down below, Elliot and Clarice find Roger and convince him to break away from Riala. He does so, and because Riala no longer has power source, he just dies. Instantly. It's almost like it went like
I saw you hanging out with
NiGHTS.
yesterday.
Roger.
It's not what you think. I won't hesitate.
Am I wrong, peeps? Am I wrong? Anyway, the arc ends with NiGHTS being restored and the tower magically being restored too. The second arc was something. The story was very confusing, and the fact that it was only 3 issues long did not help. The art quality dropped drastically, and the styles kept changing with every issue. There were a few memorable scenes and some places where the art was good, but why was it not applied where it was needed most? The final battle between NiGHTS and Riala, cover pages, opening pages, and ending pages were severely lacking. Because of this lackluster performance, the series was canned and never brought back up. Just like other Sega video games, NiGHTS was reduced to cameos.
NiGHTS.
He eventually guest starred in the Worlds Unite comic in 2015, but even then, NiGHTS played no real importance. But one thing was never covered after the series ended. On page 14 of the final comic issue, take a closer look at the bottom right panel. Mr. Weiss's shadow is distorted while he claims that his nightmares will come alive with the destruction of the tower. Before you excuse this for bad artistic taste, look at the other shadow in the panel. It looks normal compared to the other. So whose shadow is this? And who do we know that has a similar spiky form? Wiseman is not dead. He is very much alive and plotting his next move. No doubt this was going to be how the miniseries continued other than the strange dream thing Olafo brought up. I have 2 theories. One is that Mr. Weiss is Wiseman reincarnated into a human and he's trying to get back to the dream world. The other more plausible theory is that Wiseman found someone he could manipulate and is now using Mr. Weiss as a power source. The bombing of the tower would cause so much fear, Wiseman could properly return with greater power. The reason I think this is more plausible is because we have a similar concept in the games. In NiGHTS Journey of Dreams, if you do not complete the main story with a C or above, you get the normal ending.
I am the creator of nightmare. Heed my words. As long as darkness exists within the hearts of humans, then I and the nightmares shall never be destroyed.
If that is the case, then the series would continue off from there, with possible new locations, new dreamers, and perhaps comic book exclusive Nightmarans. And if the series ran long enough, perhaps it could have connected with Journey of Dreams. But that is just a theory. A NiGHTS theory. Ultimately, the NiGHTS Into Dreams comic was a hit or miss. The slowly decreasing effort and management of the project caused its untimely demise. I would have loved to see this comic rival the Archie Sonic series. Archie Sonic had its own lore and history with a gigantic cast of character exclusives. That type of attention would have at least boosted the interest in NiGHTS overall, and possibly helped the series get more than 2 games. but that can just be me. If Seika decides to come around with our favorite purple clown again, I hope it will be carefully thought out and planned.